So why sell internationally? You get new customers and additional sales, and that's not going to you're getting currently. And this is without learning a whole new channel. Sure, you can go to eBay, sure, you can go wherever. Walmart recently approached me. I'm waiting to hear my approval for getting my application through for Walmart. But I'm going to have to learn a whole new channel. And from my understanding, I might get 5–10% there. I'm glad to get that 5–10%, but it's at the cost of learning something new. So if you haven't already exhausted that growth channel of international, I think international for Amazon is a great way to go. It's also much less risky than new products. Because when you have new products, you're putting out money and you don't know if they're going to come back yet or not. Whereas you can just take your existing products, and I'll show you how you can validate that. If your products are selling in another marketplace, you can always see if they're working. I like to think of it as an insurance policy on my current listings. So not this past holiday season, but the holiday season before that, all of a sudden Amazon went on this whole thing about potentially hazardous. And they were flagging things as potentially hazardous. Anyone had that happen to them where one of their products got flagged as potentially hazardous? I see a few people shaking their heads. All of a sudden, my first product, which there's nothing hazardous, there's no batteries, there's no chemicals, there's no nothing. All of a sudden, in the middle of the holiday season, all of a sudden, no sales on it. And it essentially got suspended. They fixed it, but it took 4 or 5 days for them to fix it on Amazon.com. However, I was still making sales in Canada and in Europe for that same product. So it was kind of a little bit of an insurance policy. It wasn't as much. I would have liked to have gotten those probably 20 sales a day that I would have been getting if it was still working in the US, but at least I was still getting something. Also, I don't know 100% how long-term of your account, but I will say this. When I went into Japan, Amazon contacted me, and I had a rep, and basically there was a registration page for the Japanese marketplace, and it was in Japanese. Chrome had a button to translate. You've probably seen buttons kind of like that. And I translate it. Everything's in English, except the drop-down for country. And I'm like, I don't know what to pick, because it's all in Japanese. So I took a screenshot of what I thought it might have been, because I was looking at Google Translate, but it wasn't even close. So I sent a screenshot to my rep. He goes, oh, just pick one. We'll change it after the fact. Well, I picked Azerbaijan, which
the first country.
It was one of the first countries. And it's on like Amazon's no-fly list. So if you're in Azerbaijan, you cannot sell on Amazon. So they suspended my Japanese account. However, even though it's linked with everything else, Europe and North America were fine. So one being suspended doesn't necessarily mean they all will. I can't say that in all situations, but I can at least tell you from my own personal experience there.
Yeah, so I'm sorry, I just want to confirm. So if you get in trouble with one of them, like Amazon Germany, for example, your listing in US won't be affected.
Potentially, yeah, depending on the infraction. Like I said, I can't guarantee it there, but at least in the 2 situations I've had, things kept going outside of where the problem was.
Pretend that they do.
Yeah, you go down like dominoes. It'll happen on one, and then a week later, and then a week later.
Right.
And then
Now,
catch up.
yeah, and granted, I didn't do anything wrong, but at least I've heard stories of people that didn't do anything wrong and something happened. So at least potentially it could be a way to keep the ball rolling. And those profits that you make on Amazon and other marketplaces, you can now spend that money if you wanted to build an email list, get active campaign, all these other things that you might want to do that maybe you don't quite have the funds just yet. You could potentially use those funds for that, or you can invest into new products. So it's a way of keeping that flywheel going, as they say.